You can hear individual people clap in the crowd. So it's an unusual setting for a football game. Beautiful stadium, but no crowd noise to speak of.
I wonder if they'll wake up before too long if UTEP continues to cling to this advantage. You're looking at 2nd down and 6. Running from the I formation. Sending Carpenter in motion. Joseph Polk. Byron Frisch hit him initially. Flag is down. Jason Walker with the tackle. There are some real hitting going on, some real attacking in this one. BYU is going to get nicked via the penalty again.
And you saw Joseph Polk come out of the scramble there and grab on his face mask, indicating that the BYU tacklers grabbed a hold.
The face mask on the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Let's take a look at that play and see if we can see where the face mask came in. It's just a toss into your living room here, coming right at you. Joseph Polk going to come down, and Frisch makes a good initial contact, but then doesn't ramp up. And right here, got a hold of the face mask, and the official on the sideline saw it, and there's the call. They call it the 5-yard variety.
It'll be 2nd down and 1 after the penalty. Now here's a situation you might want to take a look at throwing the deep ball. If ever you're going to do it, they've been very conservative with the young quarterback in there and with the good running game. And it is the play fake. And Perez getting outside. And he has a 1st down thrown down by Rob Morris. And that was a design run.
When Perez came out, they just cleared out on the outside on streak routes. And we mentioned before that Morris is going to have the contain. Here he is. He's going to work this way. And as they go play action, he doesn't get off the block as quick. He bites on the play fake that time, and that's why Perez is able to turn the corner and get positive yardage for a 1st down and not be knocked out as he was on the previous play action pass when Morris knocked him out of the game for a few series.
It's been a violent linebacker tonight, Rob Morris. Joseph Polk knocked out at the 40-yard line. Tyler Nelson. Well, it appears that the Miners want to try to establish that ground game. And again, with 3 solid backs in Joseph Polk, Paul Smith, and LZ Johnson, they can come at you with a different look, with a different running back each and every time. Polk came in with 346 yards rushing. Paul Smith with 326, and LZ Johnson with 353. 2nd down and 7. Early action, 3rd quarter, Miners 7-3. And LZ Johnson tries the middle. Rob stood him up. And the Miners will be looking at 3rd down.
Johnson was the single back in that set, just a quick opener up the middle. LZ Johnson appears to be the quickest back of the 3. He's very shifty, able to cut from side to side with great ease.
LZ emerged against the Cougars last year. Busted loose for 88 yards. It's a big 3rd down and 2 for the Miners. Trying to establish something here in the 3rd quarter. Right side of that offensive line moved early, and that'll cost the Miners 5.
When BYU was coming with an all-out blitz on the play,
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You're gonna see that as BYU starts to load up the line of scrimmage as if they're coming on a blitz, that get a little bit edgy. And the offensive lineman, that was Alan Gray, the right guard. There he is, big Alan Gray. Just moving, try to react to that defensive pressure. And they get the motion penalty.
Well, it's 3rd and 7 now after establishing the ground game. One wonders now if the Miners must throw. 7 yards, a lot to be expected on the ground. They will stay on the ground. BYU is waiting that time for LZ Johnson. So the Cougars, led by Spencer Reed's charge, able to turn UTEP aside. And the fans here, there's not a lot of them, didn't appreciate that call, but you can see Charlie Bailey very protective of his young quarterback.
You could hear a spattering of boos as they ran the ball on 3rd and long.
Finley punting away to Jaron Dabney. Perhaps Dabney will be the spark the Cougars need. Nearly blocked. Dabney fields it at his 29. Well, we'll see what BYU can do offensively. Their first possession of the second half, down by 4 points. Never easy on the road, is it? Cougars will get it back when we come back. Drew Miller's numbers in this one as he starts his initial series of the second half. And he was under a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. First half had to go to a lot of 3-step drop passing downs, so he'd had time to get it off. Quick stuff. See if the Cougars can protect him better in the second half. They start with McKenzie, and he's tripped up, nowhere to roam. Gututia again, strong safety, number 30. He's a guy that averages 10 tackles a game. Look for number 30 to come up and get McKenzie.
When he flies to the football, and he's all over the field. And eventually, you would expect BYU to take advantage of that. He's a strong safety, and he comes up so hard with play action, he tends to bite. You take advantage of that and throw it into the area that he vacates. That's
17 stops against Utah. Second down, still 10. Dustin Johnson in the flat, and he's rocked. Zach Worth, Dale Curry, the linebackers over there to say hello to Dustin Johnson.
Zach Worth is definitely having his best game of the season to date. And he's been all over the field. We've seen great hitting in this football game, especially early here in the second half. Play action pass. Drew Miller going to go out to Dustin Johnson in the right flat and watch the hit. Boom, right there, a double whammy. Zach Worth and Dale Curry lower the boom on Dustin Johnson.
Cougars still need 5. Too high, intended for Cahoon. He's been smothered all night. Darius Ellison with excellent coverage on this occasion. Nobody's getting open, Clay. Not at all. No easy downs for the Cougars.
No, and Drew Miller has had pressure on every play. This time it's going to come from the top. It's going to be a strong safety blitz, and Drew Miller reads it late, tries to get the football off, but there's nobody open downfield. Good coverage again by that Miner defense.
Miners will get it back. Hartsfield into punt. Cougars will down it. Javier Sanchez backed off the ball. There's Jeff Ellis, who's downfield too, down the ball. Well, UTEP in this battle of defenses gets the ball back. It's the Miners that have the lead by 4. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. This game is sponsored in part by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. Well, Johnson was rocked on this last possession, but appears to be okay on the BYU sideline. But the Cougars' feelings hurt a little bit tonight. They're down 7-3 to a fired up, a charged up squad from UTEP. 9:17 left in the third quarter. Miners establishing the run. Joseph Polk. wonder why Dustin is shaken up. Well, we'll take a look at that hit that really almost threw him senseless.
Boy, and it was just perfect timing between Dale Curry and Zach Worth as they hit Dustin Johnson simultaneously and just knocked him to the sideline, and he laid down on the sideline for 2 plays, trying to get his senses back about it.
Very physical contest to this point. Perez nearly had it picked off by Spencer Reed. Spencer showing some athletic ability, getting back in pass coverage. Got his mitts on it. Ball was intended for Alan Ray, and linebacker. You talk about speed and size. He's a guy who's 6'1" and 245. Got back into coverage.
Alan Ray was just running a curl route down the field and was open, but Reed got in that throwing lane.
3rd down and 7 for the Miners. Perez in the shotgun. Wide open receiver is Natkin, the tight end. Brian Natkin. Touchdown, UTEP.
And that play's going to come back, Randy, because there was a motion penalty on the Miners. The motion man started up the field before the snap of the football. Natkin was wide open. Big play for the Miners, and it's going to come back.
How deflating will this be for the Miners? Brian Natkin, by the way, one of the closest friends of Drew Miller. Natkin was at Lakes High School in Washington for 2 years before his parents moved to the El Paso area, and then Natkin went on to UTEP. They met last night and exchanged pleasantries, and Natkin's playing for the Miners tonight, and obviously Miller playing for the Cougars.
Legal motion, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And the fans boo because they called back a touchdown, but I watched the motion man all the way across the field. They're loaded up on the left side, and let's start it in motion. You're going to see they're loaded up on the left side. The motion man was on the top of the screen, and Natkin was at the tight end position. They brought motion at the top of the screen. Natkin wide open. They had 3 receivers off to the left side, but the motion man started toward the line of scrimmage. You can do it in the CFL, but not in the NCAA. And the official immediately threw the flag long before Perez let go of the football. It was a proper call on the play.
Now the Cougars cut a break, so Perez will have to try it again. And Perez scrambling, can only get out to the 25-yard line. Ed Keel able to run him down. Although Cougars defense has held. The penalty wiping out the long touchdown to Natkin, and BYU still within contact, down by 7-3.
You hate to see that as an offensive coach. Sometimes a penalty gives you an advantage and you score because of it, but in that case, that motion penalty had nothing to do with why Natkin was open. That was just a broken coverage, and Charlie Bailey has got to be upset. Giving points up there that should have been theirs on the scoreboard.
Penalty. They didn't give Dabney an opportunity as this one's run back.
And the other thing is, if there were no penalty on the play, you cannot advance a muff, and that would be considered.
That's Brian Young, by the way, number 66, thinking, hey, wait a minute, I may be able to score a touchdown, but he won't.
We haven't had an opportunity to see Dabney return the ball. The kicks have been so high and so short that he's had to come up on every one, up into the coverage, and fair catch most of the balls.
If you're on that punt coverage, you just have to be schooled well enough to back off the guy coming up and just give him his yardage, 2 yards.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. Non-contact, 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Down.
And the natives are restless.
And Charlie Bailey wants to know, who threw the flag? Did you throw it? Here comes Dabney up trying to, and you know what? Here's another case. Everybody thought that hit a BYU player, but that squarely hit a UTEP player, and that was Sanchez in coverage on the back of the head. So the ball would be down at that point anyhow if there were no penalty. This is twice that We've been fooled, and on the replay we see that it wasn't a BYU player that was in the head, but it was Sanchez on the play.
Cougars at their 48. John Moal with the tight end getting set on the right side. Number 84. Miller throwing on first down, trying to set up the screen. McKenzie doesn't go very far. Brent Henderson, the linebacker, wrapped him up.
Let's take a look again, and Dabney's trying to come up again. A short and high punt, and take a look. Here it is right here, right on the top of the head. Great shot there of Sanchez on the coverage, and everybody just assumed that it hit a BYU player, but the penalty gives BYU the ball anyhow.
This Bladder defense has come from all directions against Drew Miller tonight, and they're coming again. This one's intercepted. Henderson bringing it back. Touchdown, UTEP. Zach Worth applied the pressure. Henderson with the pick. And the Miners are feeling like they can upset BYU.
And you see Drew Miller limping off the field. They brought everyone again. They brought the linebackers and the safety on the blitz. Miller trying to make the read and get rid of the football is smacked as he's letting go of the football. Take a look. Big time pressure, and it's Worth who makes the hit. The ball up in the air would have been an incomplete pass, but Brent Henderson is there for the gift, and he takes it all the way back for 6 points for the Miners.
Well, the Miners defense starting to establish dominance. Finley's extra point, and the Miners lead by 11. This is a 20-point underdog that has the lead with 6:36 left in the third quarter by double digits. Said it in the second quarter, Blaine. You had the feeling that UTEP knew at that point they could play with BYU. They're more than holding their own at this point. They have the upper hand against the wax defending champions. Well, Drew Miller just victimized. He was hit as he released the ball. Brent Henderson intercepted it. Took it in unofficially for a 45-yard score. BYU down by 11 at 14-3. You can see this is a fired-up group. Javier Sanchez getting down on Chris Stevens.
Let's take a look at that touchdown again. Big-time pressure. You're going to see everyone come. The inside backers come. Strong safety comes. And the pressure comes from the outside as Worth puts the hit on. And Brent Henderson alertly picks up the errant throw and takes it back. 45 yards for the touchdown to put the Miners up 14-3.
You know, if the Miners didn't have that one flag, who knows? They've had a touchdown wiped out in this third quarter. Finally, the Cougars throw to Cahoon. Tripped up by David Kochery. Let's go down to the sideline and Holly Rowe.
Well, he's the littlest guy out there on offense, but Ben Cahoon is taking that leadership role right now on the sidelines. Before this series, he went and talked to every single offensive player. He collected them in a huddle and he said, let's do this for us. Forget about everything else. Let's win this for us. And he's definitely making a big cheerleading effort for the offense right now.
Well, he caught 10 a week ago against TCU. That's his first reception tonight. That one intended for Cahoon, thrown behind him. You know, it all starts up front. It's nice if you can have a holler guy and a quarterback and all that, but you need protection, and that offensive line is really bruised up. Bateman's been hobbling, Tate's out of there, and it's just tough right now with the different looks that UTEP is providing for Miller to get any kind of protection.
Well, and it doesn't fall just with the offensive line. Certainly they're nicked up, but when you're bringing safeties and linebackers, the backs and the tight end all become part of the protection package. That time they brought the strong safety again. Miller tried to make a read, and he and Ben Cahoon weren't on the same page on the side adjustment.
They're down and 6 for the Cougars. They need to convert here. Deep ball for Margin Hooks. He's out there. Hooks makes the grab inside the 30. They'll spot him down at the 29. Bumped off his pins by David Kochery.
That's what BYU hasn't been able to do. When a team gives you a steady diet of blitzes, you've got to hurt them and make them pay for blitzing. He's got Margin Hooks on the outside. He makes an audible call. They're going to blitz again, and Hooks has press coverage right up tight on the outside. He calls the streak route. Hooks goes out and gets the reception. And BYU makes Kochery pay for playing that bump coverage. He has no help deep, and that's what you have to do against a blitz to make him honest. Now, El Paso's got to think about coming if BYU can hurt them deep.
39 yards to Hooks, and the Cougars needed that one. Miller flushed out of the pocket, tipped and intercepted. Curry with the pick, and UTEP is held. Well, the Cougar offense after the big play gives it right back to the Miners.
Drew Miller's there's going to be pressure up the middle here, and Drew Miller's going to be forced to flush out of the pocket. Now he's going to try to throw the ball back inside to Roderick, and it's hard to throw the ball back inside at this level. The defensive backs and the linebackers are able to react quickly. Going to try to go back inside, running out to his right. Watch how quickly the reaction is. The ball's tipped, intercepted.
Ball Smith gets a yard or two. It was Muagutu-Tia that tipped that ball. That's not surprising. At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the most valuable player. Presented by AT&T Wireless Services. It's all within your reach. AT&T. BYU's defense, they need to do something. They played very well, but they perhaps need to force a turnover and put it on the plate for the offense. Down to 4:30 left in the third quarter, and it's the Miners by 11. Johnson looking to throw the ball, and Elsie Johnson has this one on target to Golson, and the Miners are pulling out all the stops.
And a great call. The Miners have been very conservative with the young quarterback Perez in the football game, so they come out. They just run a toss out to Johnson. He makes a nice throw. It really didn't fool BYU's defense. Walker was in coverage. He throws the ball over the head of Cook and back inside. Not a wide open receiver, but a good throw by Johnson and a nice completion for the Miners.
Miners at their 45. Living right. Suddenly things are breaking in their way. Elsie Johnson up the middle for a couple. You had the middle linebacker Rob Morris plugged up the play. But these Miners can sense it. They feel like they have BYU on the ropes. Still plenty of time. 3:40 left in the third quarter, but a concerned Lavelle Edwards. Cougars have beaten this team 10 times in a row, 24 out of the last 25. The last loss right here, 23-16 in 1985. And Smith into Brigham Young territory to the 49. Sent packing by Brad Martin, and it'll be 3rd down and 4. Well, the way things are going, Blaine, BYU's defense can ill afford to give away anything at this stage. Looks like a big 11. Sometimes in a shootout, 11 points isn't a lot of points, but where this game's being played, that's a big spot right now.
Yeah, BYU has not been able to effectively move the ball on offense at all. And the Miners, really not much offense in this football game. It's been the Miner defense has been the story here in this game.
Perez rolling and throwing. Did Carpenter come up with it? He did. Working downfield against Jason Walker. Jimmy Carpenter, a 1st down catch for UTEP.
Carpenter, the leading receiver for this Miner team, goes down and makes a big catch. Perez with a good throw on the full run with pressure. Carpenter go down to the turf and get those arms underneath. Good catch by Jimmy Carpenter.
All the momentum suddenly with UTEP. Their defense intercepting Drew Miller twice in the third quarter. Henderson took one of those picks in for a touchdown. And Perez, quarterback draw. Mongole tripped him up. That's Rocky Perez doing a good job engineering his ball club.
You get him in and thinking pass. You get the defense thinking pass. This is a design draw all the way, and Perez is just going to take a step back and come right here on the draw. Good blocking up front. Perez sets up that block on the inside for Kerry Clayton, his center. Goes the outside, cuts back to the middle.
Miners have controlled the ball. They've had it longer tonight than BYU. In the time of possession, they've been doing it on the ground and in the air. Look at Paul Smith running downfield for another first down. Paul Smith, he's the guy who came in early in this game when the Miners were down 3-0 and ignited the offense.
And they're just going to get after it, get Smith into the middle. And there's not much of a hole there, but he keeps the legs moving. Look at him drive the legs, and he's going to make 2 yards more, 3 yards more after contact just because of the leg drive.
Miners 14-5 in first downs, and they have controlled the game. Final minute of the third quarter, leading 14-3. Out of the 29, and again they call on Paul Smith. Charlie Bailey couldn't have drawn it up on the board any better than this.
Perez is
driving with a double-digit lead.
Rocky Perez has done a nice job of engineering the offense here in the second half. Hasn't done anything to hurt the Miners offensively.
Shown us the ability to run. That quarterback draw has been called a couple times. Miners need 7 on second down. And LZ Johnson has stood up. Mongole really broke down the offensive front. Also there, Darren Yancey. But that's going to conclude the third quarter, and it was a good one for the Miners. Well, BYU is going to need a dramatic rally in the final quarter. BYU controls its own destiny in the WAC Mountain Division, but right now their destiny is iffy. This is the Blue and White Sports Network.